So I waited for others to talk about this, before I gave my thought. I heard what just Alex Hicks, Alex's World here on YouTube, had to say about it. And I heard just recently, because he put it up today, just like an hour ago, so what JD from NY206 of Off the Script had to say as well. And it all has to do with the fact that, recently at a live event, I'm assuming this past Tuesday night, because Raw was in Anaheim. I think they were in No, they were in San Jose. Raw was in San Jose this past week. And then on Tuesday night, they were in Oakland for a live event. So they were in kind of my backyard, if you will, for some house, for Raw and for their house shows. I think they may have done one or two in Sacramento or Stockton, as well during the week. I'm not really sure. But anyway, it was during the Oakland event. It was during the Oakland event that a video went viral. And this video had to do with a fan. It had to do with a fan, as I try to put this somewhere real quickly. Hold on. But anyway, it had to do with a fan. I'm just going to lay it like that. But it had to do with a fan basically shouting at Maxxine Dupri, formerly known as Sophia Cardgirl or something like Cardwell, in NXT. It had to do with a fan, chanting to Maxine, "You suck. Don't come back. Don't come back." And apparently, this made the rounds. This made the rounds on social media. Why it was posted on social media, no one will know, but one can, come to their own conclusions. Anyway, this got a lot of people talking, and giving their opinions about it because obviously it riled up a lot of the women, if you will, in the wrestling community. It riled up a lot of women, not just in the wrestling community, fans and everything, but it also riled up a lot of the women in the business. And we're not just talking within WWE, we're talking, outside of WWE as well, like AEW and other places. And basically, what happened is you had people like Rhea Ripley, Zelina Vega, Becky Lynch, Jade Cargill, all who are part of WWE, especially Rhea, who is the women's champion, by the way. She is the women's world champion, by the way. It had them all come to, Maxine's defense. And what's interesting, like I said, is it also, carried out of WWE as well. The support from Maxine, transcended WWE to an extent, where you even had Britt Baker of All Elite Wrestling agreeing with what Rhea Ripley said. And Rhea Ripley basically said, look, we need to be better humans. Basically what all these women, including Rhea, was saying was, be better. Be better humans. Don't criticize or anything. Don't boo somebody who's learning on the job on, how to do what we do in the ring. Don't criticize her for, still learning and everything. And others, like I said, voiced similar opinions and similar thoughts. Becky Lynch, obviously, she sees potential in Maxine and said, hey, I want to team with her. And she basically emphasized that in her response. Zelina Vega, she said what she did and basically ended it by saying that the only reason people like this will chant the things they do to Maxine is because they can't get an opportunity to taste or drink her bath water, quote unquote, and so on. You kind of see what she was alluding to, but obviously she wanted to keep it clean, But anyway, anyway, they were, you had Zelina say that, and then like I said, and you had Jade Cargill as well, supporting her. And Jade right now is very limited to what she can do, and how she is presented, and what she's able to be allowed to do in the ring, because she's still training at the Performance Center as we speak. I mean, yes, she appeared in the Rumble and she's been on and off television, but they're making sure that when she, does show up, officially full time, that she's ready to go. But yeah, she voiced her opinion and everything, her support, and then of course you had Britt Baker, like I said, in AEW, voicing hers as well, agreeing with, I should say, what Rhea Ripley had to say in response to this. And then, of course, you have others, like I say, here in the IWC that, are in support, men and women, in support of Maxxine and not liking what this person said. And then, of course, like I said, you have people in other wrestling promotions like TNA, AAA, MLW, GCW, you name it, New Japan, All Japan, Stardom. You have a lot of men and women in the business that are in support of Maxxine and not very happy with what this guy said. And look, here's the one thing that, everybody that's talked about this, so far here on YouTube, and on Rumble and elsewhere, that, is very neutral, and I say this with all due respect, no offense, very level-headed, very, shoot from the hip, very real. A lot of people have said that basically when you buy a ticket to any event, whether it's a pro wrestling event like WWE, AEW, GCW, TNA, New Japan, you name it, or if you buy a ticket to an MLB game, whether it's a National League game, American League game, Interleague game, the London series that's coming up, or, even the All-Star game, World Series, whatever, if you buy a ticket there, you buy a ticket to that, you have a right to say what you want to say. Same with the NFL, or even the upcoming UFL, the United Football League, the NBA, WNBA, and so on, UFC, Bellator, PFL, the Pro Fighting League, and whatnot. You kind of get what I'm saying, right? Get what I'm saying. Even with concerts, you have a right to, at a concert, to cheer, and boo what you don't like about that concert, even if the artist may not be too thrilled with it. But the point is, you have a right, if you paid your hard-earned money, to go out and boo and cheer and be neutral with whatever you want to be at, or whatever you see, I should say. I'm trying to find the right words to say here. But yeah, you have the right to say whatever you want to say or feel any way you want to feel. Again, whether you feel neutral about what you're seeing, or you want to boo it, you want to be critical, or you're feeling cheerful and you want to support it, you have the right to do that. And this guy, with the video where he's telling Maxxine, "You suck, don't come back," whether you agree with that or not, unfortunately, he has the right to say that. He paid his hard-earned money, probably sitting in the third or second row at the Oracle Arena in Oakland. At the Oracle Arena in Oakland, he has the right to say to say that kind of stuff. He has the right to say that kind of stuff, whether you agree with it or you don't. Whether you agree with it or you don't, he has the right to say that, unfortunately. But here's the thing that some people are not pointing out. And I'm surprised JD and Alex didn't point this out, or anybody else didn't. And that is, Maxxine didn't even acknowledge it. She's walking to the back, raising her hand like this. Yeah, she's getting booed at times. She's getting booed at times. Excuse me there. It's still early and I'm waking up. I do apologize. But she's getting booed at times, if you will. But let's be honest. I don't think those boos were necessarily for her. I think some of the boos were for Nia Jax. Because remember, Nia Jax is a heel, and she gets tremendous heat to the point that she can make somebody like Maxxine Dupri, an ultra babyface, or at least, have people supporting her. And, again, people have a right, unfortunately, to say things and, say the things they want to say, whether they like something or they don't. Or if they want to be neutral, they just stay neutral. That's it. You know, and again, I want to point this out that Maxine didn't even acknowledge it. She's just walking to the back. You're hearing the boos. The boos aren't for her. No, the boos I think are a mixture. Boos are people that feel she shouldn't be in the ring right now, and boos for the fact that Nia Jax beat her. So it's like, hey, it's a mixture of boos. You don't know exactly where they're coming from, and so on and so forth. The thing is, Maxine didn't even acknowledge it. She's just walking to the back, raising her hand up, and that's it. She didn't stop and look at the guy. No, she ignored. She didn't even pay attention to it. It didn't even register with her. Now, obviously, she's going to hear about it. There's no doubt. But what's going to happen is she's got people there that are supporting her right now, like a Rhea Ripley, like a Becky Lynch, like a Zelina Vega, like a Jade Cargill, and so on. She's got people that are going to support her and say, hey, take that hatred people like that, sicko have, or that person has. Take that displeasure, that hatred, that they have for you, and use it as motivation to prove them wrong. And I guarantee you that's what she's probably going to do. She's going to probably, with the support of those that came to her aid online about this, she's probably going to take that and, go to the performance center, and basically train better. I mean, I guarantee she might, if not have somebody, she might go, I'm trying to find the right word to say here. She might go to like Triple H or Shawn or somebody and say, look, I don't like, I didn't even know that happened, and I'm thankful for the support people are giving me, but I think they do have a point. I need to get better. So let me go to the performance center and train. And that might be what happens. Like, she'll come in, do some Raws and all that. She might do a live event here and there, but I think she's going to basically take what's going on here because it's gone viral and basically say, all right, I'm going to prove these doubters, these haters wrong, and I'm going to go and train my ass off at the performance center, when I have days off. Or I'm going to go to a wrestling school. Maybe, I think this is why they also paired her up with Chad Gable in the Alpha Academy, because, hey, if anybody could help her, not just in story, but legitimately help her get better, it's Chad Gable. Obviously that's why they paired her with him. And to me, obviously, Maxine feels like, and I think this is why Triple H keeps her around, because you can't tell me Triple H doesn't realize, yeah, she's not ready, but I think he keeps her around because she reminds him of somebody. And that somebody is Trish Stratus. That's right. And let me explain why. You see, when Trish began as part of TNA, Test and Albert, when she managed them, she was only looked at as a valet. But over time, she started to get in the ring. She started to perform. And like Maxine, she wasn't good, but over time she got better. And you know why? Because she trained. Yeah, they didn't have the performance center back then, but, they had outlets. They had OVW. They had Heartland Wrestling Association. You name it. They had schools that they associated with that even some of the superstars ran at that time, or new people, or the superstars knew who that ran them, that, they weren't allowed to use to, further train their talent. And Trish, in my opinion, took the opportunity during that time, while she was still being a valet, to go and train, like when she wasn't needed, or, Test and Albert weren't scheduled to be in an event, they had a day off or whatever, or, they just said, okay, Trish, Test and Albert are going to be at the live event, but you're going to stay behind and train. I guarantee you she took the opportunity to get better. And lo and behold, what happened? What's the result? You look back on it now, when she first won her first world title at Survivor Series 2001, up to what she's doing now, guess what? Trish is looked upon as one of the greatest women's wrestlers in the past 20 years, if not the past 2 to 3 decades. She's looked at one of the best in-ring performers of all time. I mean, this is why she is a 7-time women's world champion. She's a former, believe it or not, women's tag champ, asterisk on that, if you will, because she was subbing for Lita with Becky Lynch. And not only that, this is also why she's a Hall of Famer, because she excelled. She took what was given to her, and she took what was given to her as a valet and excelled at that. And then she took the opportunity, the challenge to become more than that, and she excelled. I mean, yeah, there's no doubt she got criticism, but guess what? She took that criticism as motivation and got better. And I think that's why Triple H keeps Maxxine around. Yeah, he's aware she's probably not ready to be fully in the ring all the time, which is why you see her being in the ring on television being very, very limited, because it's like, okay, you do it at a house show, fine. Only the people there are going to see it, but they're not going to be too critical about it. And also, a house show is like basically, working, trying to create and trying to, execute some stuff that may make you look good in the long run. Then people could say, yeah, what you did there, that's perfect. Use that. That kind of will help you look, a lot better on the ring. And obviously she's going to do that. But I think also she's going to take the motivation, the opportunity to go to the performance center and work out what she has to do, as well as even take time to work with people like Chad Gable to get some of the, to get a lot of that, I guess you could say, greenness, off of her. That's what she's going to do. That's what she's going to do. But again, the reason I think he keeps her around is I think she reminds him of Trish Stratus. And that it reminds him that Trish used to be in the same boat. Trish used to be in the same boat, and that over time she ended up becoming who she is today. And I think that's why he keeps her around. And maybe even Trish said, hey, she reminds me a lot of myself. Keep her around. She might surprise you. And maybe she will. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. But honestly, I understand, honestly, I understand, people like myself, at the end of the day, if we spend our hard-earned money to go and watch a game at a ballpark, whether we, or, at a ballpark, like during the MLB season, or we go, buy a ticket for the weekly Sunday game, at an NFL game, or even this spring at a UFL game, or if we spend our hard-earned money to go to an NBA game or whatever, we have the right to cheer and boo and say what we want to say. I mean, JD said it best, in his video on this. He said it best. I mean, last year he said he went to a Mets and Braves game in Citi Field in New York. And somebody that obviously had too much that was sitting behind him and his friend was chanting that Matt Olson sucked. Now, Matt Olson, as far as I know, plays for the Atlanta Braves. And, JD said, was that guy right? No, he wasn't. And JD even said he got a laugh out of it. And this guy would keep saying this to Olson all the time. And again, JD's like, is he right? No, because of what Olson did last year. Olson proved to be one of the best players in the league. And here's the thing. Did people get on that guy, drunk or not, for saying Olson sucks? No. No, they didn't. Even if that did go viral, even if that was a video that did go viral, did they, get on him? No. And it wasn't because he's a man or a woman or anything like that. It's because they know he had a right to voice his opinion. He has a right to voice his opinion, just like anybody does. Like I say, you can go to a concert, you can boo and cheer whatever, song is being performed, whether or not it irritates the artist or not, you have a right to do that. You have that right to do that, because you paid your hard-earned money. And that's a fact. That is a fact. Also, you got to realize that sometimes when you're, in certain areas, certain towns, you're going to deal with different kinds of crowds. Look, Oakland is not that far away from Hayward. I used to live in Hayward. I was only like 30 miles, 25 miles away from Oakland growing up in Hayward. All right? So it wasn't that far of a journey if my school took us on a field trip to go to a game, like they did one time. And the thing is, in Oakland, it's a different dynamic of people. It's a different dynamic of people. Now, I'm not saying the guy that said this to her is, resides in Oakland. He could be from Hayward or San Lorenzo, if you will. But the point is, when you go into certain regions of a state, certain cities, or certain counties, if you will, you're going to deal with a different group of people. I mean, everybody is pretty much, wondering what the reaction is going to be in Philadelphia for some of these stars at WrestleMania within a month. But the point is, again, you also have, but the point is, again, you have to factor that in as well. You have to factor that in as well. Now, is Maxxine going to get the same kind of reaction? Let's say she gets in the ring with, Nia Jax again, or she gets in the ring with Valhalla, or whatever. Is she going to get that same kind of reaction? Let's say if they're performing in Arizona tonight, or they're performing in Texas tonight, is she going to get that same reaction in Austin or Dallas or the Houston area, or or even the Phoenix area or whatever, or Albuquerque? Is she going to get that same reaction? Probably not. It all depends. It all depends on the crowd as well. But different crowds or not, everybody has a right to cheer and boo, and be neutral to whatever or whoever they want to be that way to. And that's, in some people's eyes, the unfortunate truth. Now, again, in closing, I think Maxxine's going to take the support she's getting, and she's going to use that as motivation to get better, by performing at these live events, as well as when given the opportunity to go to the, performance center and get better there, as well as work out some kinks with, kinks and stuff in the ring with people like Chad Gable and Otis. She's going to take that opportunity when given to her. And I think, in the long run, she might surprise people, because again, I think, this is just something that I feel is, true to the bone. I think Triple H keeps her around because she reminds him of Trish Stratus, and maybe even Trish endorsed her. Maybe Trish, we don't know this to be true or not. Maybe she endorsed her and said, hey, she has a lot of traits like I used to have starting out. Maybe she might be your next me. She might be the next Trish. So we'll have to see. And maybe others that support her are seeing that. Like, hey, don't sleep on her just yet, because one day she might surprise you. And we'll have to see. But in the end, everybody has a right, if they pay the hard-earned money, to cheer, boo, and be neutral to whatever or whoever they want. But I think what Maxxine's going to do, in the long run, trying to find the right words to say, in the long run, I think she's going to take what's going on here as motivation and say, I'm not only going to get better, but when the time is right, I'm going to take what I've gotten better at and use it to prove all the doubters wrong. I think that's what's going to happen. But, for the time being, I think, I will agree, she should, just stick to live event matches, to where she can hone her craft there in front of people. And maybe get some criticism, not just criticism, but get some advice and motivation to get better, when she goes backstage. And also, I think she should also have the opportunity to train at the Performance Center when she's not needed, on her day off, or when she's not on the road. Just go and perform at the Performance Center, get better there, as well as, I think, take the opportunity to take the pairing you have with the Alpha Academy and legitimately have people like Gable and Otis and Tozawa help her out to get better in the ring. But honestly, it's going to take time, and we need to be patient. But like I said, people, unfortunately, whether you like it or not, it's a reality. People, when they pay the hard-earned money, have a right to cheer, boo, and be neutral to whoever and whatever they want. And that's the truth. That's the harsh reality, but we got to live with it. But honestly, there's not much more I can say about that. And again, I think the reason he keeps her around, keeps her around on camera and everything, and allows her to have the limited time in the ring that she gets, to perform, is because I think there's a familiarity to her, where she kind of resembles and reminds people, mostly Triple H, of Trish Stratus. And again, we can't say whether or not Trish even said that herself. Hopefully we'll find out over time. But I think that's why she's kept around. She gives off those kind of familiar vibes. And who knows? One day she might surprise us, but it takes time and we got to be patient. And whether we like it or not, you go to different cities, different counties, different venues and everything, you're going to deal with different crowds. And some crowds are going to be respectful, some are not. And we just got to deal with that. But let me know what your thoughts are on this whole situation with, what happened with Maxxine Dupri. Do you agree with that? What I've had to say, what Alex has had to say, and JD and others. I'll provide the videos here at the end. But give me your thoughts overall. And until then, I am out.